Alright, thank you guys for clicking on this week's video. Today we're going to go over the pros and cons of Robinhood. So first things first, I'm going to start off with the cons and then I'll get to the pros later. So the biggest cons that I've seen by watching other videos and through personal experience is one, the customer service is awful. Now this is one of the things that I've never personally experienced. Then again, I've never had a problem with them. However, I've come across multitude of videos exclaiming how awful the customer service is and how it takes them pretty much forever to respond, weeks on end. And usually the issue only needed about 5 minutes of their attention to get resolved. Next is their chart delays. Again, everybody else has noticed this, and you've noticed as well, more than likely, is that they're actually behind, which for a free service is kind of typical. You're not paying a ton of money up front or really at all with them unless you choose to upgrade your account. But unless you're day trading on end every single day, you don't really need to have an up-to-date chart. However, it does help. But if you're so inclined to know, you can also just Google the stock and see what it's trading for at that hour. Another thing that's pretty bad is the watch list. It doesn't really allow you to customize it very well. Personally, I don't even use the watch list on there anymore just because of how awful it is. And one of the biggest setbacks for me is the fact that whenever you look up a ticker symbol and you try to check out that stock, there's no news beneath it on the stock. It just gives you a quick description of the stock, which actually I'll talk about later and how it actually is kind of a pro. But the con is that they don't also include any new news about the company whatsoever. And finally, the last con is that it's a very bare bones app. There isn't a lot going on for it. It does look nice. However, there is a lot of tools that you could use on different trading platforms that you just don't get with Robinhood. However, for the casual trader, I do see how this app could be definitely a big perk for people to use. Now, here are the pros. I'm going to go with them somewhat quickly because a lot of them you've heard before, but there are some that I've noticed that I personally like that some other videos didn't really talk about. So first things first, whenever you sign up with Robinhood, you do get a free stock. And on top of that, if you invite somebody, you get another free stock on top of that as well, which is honestly a really great way to promote their app, and also pretty awesome for you. You get a free stock, which typically turns out to only be like a $5 stock or a $2 stock. But after, you say you invite 10 friends, that's $50. And if you know what you're doing, you could turn that money into, shoot, sky's the limit. You could do really whatever you want with it. Next, I love their big movers of the day. I like how they'll show you some stocks that dropped 50% or went up 50%. And in my previous video, I talk about how you can use those stocks to your advantage and how to make some quick money pretty fast. Thirdly, when I was first learning about trading options, I was a little nervous at first, but actually the Robinhood map made it a great way to test some new strategies that I was trying out from previous books that I've read. And also, if there's any books you guys want me to do a summary on, feel free to comment below and I'll gladly read the book multiple times and give you guys the key takeaway points and the highlights of the book. You also don't need a minimum deposit. A lot of brokerages actually require that you have a minimum deposit, usually of about $500 or more. But apps like Robinhood or Webull and trading platforms like that, you actually don't really need a minimum deposit, which is pretty nice if you're just starting out and you just want to test some things. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is they're actually coming out with fractional shares. Personally, I'm not a fan of fractional shares. However, I do see how they could be super beneficial to most people, and it's a great way for beginning investors to start off with. And believe it or not, a lot of places don't even offer that. So it's very inviting, the fact that Robinhood's going to do that for its customers. Next, it's very aesthetically pleasing. A lot of the times I'll be trading on other platforms and I'll even go back to Robinhood just to see the chart on there, just because how beautiful it looks. And finally, I do really enjoy the intro to the company. I do wish there was a lot more to it. It is very bare bones, but one of my favorite things is the fact that they include the number of employees right at the bottom, so it could tell you how big of an operation a company is really operating under and give you a little bit of a sense on how much more they can grow. But that's my takeaway on the Robinhood app. I hope you guys liked the video. Remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe for more future content.